You can't charge world-class prices if you're not in world-class shape.
Welcome to the FMA podcast. This episode is with Kirk Miller, online coach and the founder of Built to Last. This is episode 3. So if you've missed episode 1 and 2, I highly recommend that you go back and watch them. Episode 1 was about his pricing and how he's able to charge $5,000 front end for 90 days of online coaching. Episode 2, he lifted the lid on his business and he talked about what's actually involved. And part 3, which is this episode, is all about sales.
What's really important on the sales process is to mentally take pictures of all those answers. What is a high value leveraged activity is getting on calls with potential clients who will join your program.
Let's go. Kirk, part 3. We're going to jam on sales, 10 minutes on the clock. For anyone who's not listened to part 1 and part 2, highly recommend they do that. The link will be around this video somewhere. Let's go. Sales. You're one of the best salespeople that I've met. Can you give some golden nuggets to the audience who are gym owners and online coaches? Mm-hmm. How can they get better at sales?
I mean, that's great. Where do I start with that? I think the biggest thing that gives me confidence in sales isn't necessarily knowing how to handle objections, how to build rapport, how to break down your service to the prospect on a call. It's transferring that emotional certainty and belief that when you are on my ship, you will never have to invest in your health and fitness again. Where does that emotional certainty and belief come from? It comes from knowing from the bottom of my heart, I will deliver on my expectations and my team will across every single aspect of your journey. Like it's just unwavering faith that the only way someone would not get the result that they're coming to achieve is if they didn't want the result in the first place. But I would literally be telling that person on a call when I did do sales calls that to their face. It's a feeling. It's not necessarily an objection handler or saying the best sentence, although we can talk about tonality and stuff like that. It's a feeling that I'm giving you from the first second you speak to me.
So you have so much belief in
Yes.
your product and service that rubs off on the prospective customer.
Yeah, and that comes from stack of evidence over decades that I know what I'm doing and my team know what they're doing. And the systems we've built, the model we've built, and let's be real here, not just based on what I think, but knowing that I've transformed and my team have transformed people over and over and over again who are similar to the prospect on the call. That's it.
So how can I get that belief, improve my belief? Because a lot of people have lack of self-belief in themselves, and then that shows up in their business.
Yeah, great question. So you've got a couple of different things to think about here. You've got your actual product, the results your product delivers, the experience of that client journey. I know we spoke about in the previous episode, knowing that you're providing that much value, the client's going to feel 10 foot tall, it's going to exceed their emotional expectation that they're paying X, but they're getting Y. But also it comes down to your personal standards. I've never been out of shape. That's in spite of moving from Coventry to London, London to Dubai, adapting my lifestyle, adapting my system. Of course, I haven't seen it all in life, but there's not much I haven't seen in terms of navigating how I manage my training, movement, food, lifestyle management to never be out of shape. There's not many coaches I feel have never been out of shape as long as I have. Irrelevant of business, I've got a little girl now, I adapt. So alongside knowing that I've transformed lives, my product is world class, and my personal standards are through the roof, and how I look and the confidence I have internally, that confidence, you're going to feel that the other side.
So look after yourself.
Yeah, make sure you're in world class shape. You can't charge world class prices if you're not in world class shape.
Because some people, they start building that business and then that becomes the priority, and they take their eye off the ball. They don't walk, they don't exercise, they don't eat right, and they're selling fitness. So what you're saying
if you're going to sell premium prices, act premium, behave premium, speak premium, train premium, eat premium. It doesn't mean it being perfect. I'm far from perfect. But
standards.
Make sure that your standards are significantly higher, or let me rephrase this, make sure your standards are aspirational to the prospect in every way, shape or form. And again, they're going to feel this, because you might be able to practice that 55 times in the mirror, okay, and then relay this to a client. But if that's not done with integrity and authenticity, if you're asking a client to pay top whack for your services, they're going to see through that right away. And even if you did bluff them, they're going to join your program if you're lucky enough for them to buy in, and then they're going to see the real you behind the scenes. Then there's going to be that discrepancy in trust of, hang on a minute, Kirk showed up as this person. He promised me this with the product, promised me this with the experience. That's below my expectations. And people are investing in you or coming to the gym, but certainly coming to me as an online coach to stretch their vision, stretch their standards, and ultimately give them a new level of confidence as a result of those things.
We got 4 minutes 30
Yep.
on the clock. Some gym owners, some online coaches that are charging 100, 200, 300 a month, they are struggling with price objections.
Yeah.
Or they're struggling with objections, not just price, just everything. So you're selling at 5,000 front end, 1,000 recurring. Can you just give some insight on how to overcome objections? Because you're selling so high.
Firstly, for me, what's important, Ben, if I'm selling you, firstly, I need to build rapport. I need to understand your world, your personal, professional, emotional world. I need to understand what is the actual problem that you're here to solve. How long has that been a problem for? What have you tried to do to fix it? And what are you looking to achieve, and why is that important? What's really important on the sales process is to mentally take pictures of all those answers, because I'm going to use that as leverage at the end of the call. If you're going to try and get off the call with me and say, oh, no, I'm okay, I need to think about it. If you've told me you've had a problem for 10 years and you've tried 3 PTs and you've spent 20 grand already, that's my objection handle right there. But once you've gone through rapport, understanding the client's world, gone through how long, what's the problem, how long's the problem, what have they tried, what's the goal and why, and then from our side, we've done a visual demonstration, which is visually showing the prospect, this is how we overcome that problem that you've got. So we're not just telling you, we're showing you. Then at the end of that visual demonstration, have you got any questions? 99% of the time there's no. Do you believe this would help overcome your problem? Yes, cool. There's 3 great questions I still ask before I decide with the prospect which option they're going to move forward with. 3 questions is, after I've gone through all of what I've just shared, I'll relay this to you now, Ben. It would be, right, Ben, before we decide which option we move forward with, so I'm being very presumptuous that you're going to move forward, especially when I've just provided value to every problem or certainty to every problem that we can solve that. I would ask, you're going to say yes. Okay, Ben, there's 3 questions that we're going to go through. 1, why is this important right now? 2, why built to last? Why do you think it'd be right for you? 3, what's going to make you a great client? The reason those 3 questions are so powerful, why now? 99% of the time, the client's going to go, well, it's now or never. I've been trying this for years and I've just, enough's enough. It's affecting everything. So I've got time leverage. You've just told me that this is important right now. Second question, why built to last? You're going to sell the program to me. So you're going to articulate to me why built to last is going to help you and why you believe it works. What's going to make you a great client? You're going to tell me from a character perspective. The likelihood is you're going to say, I do what I'm said, I'm a great client, I implement, I'm an action taker. So then if you then give me, I still need to think about it. Okay.
That's a contradiction.
Yeah, but Ben, you've just told me this is important right now because of X. Is that still the case? Yes. So you've shut the door on that. 2, why built to last? Well, I think it's going to be great. Okay, so you've got evidence that you know this can work. Yeah. 3, I'm a go-getter. Would you agree that your answer, you need to think about it, Ben, it sort of slightly contradicts that? Then I would then ask the question, look, Ben, I'm a very honest person. Usually when someone still needs to think about it after we've unpacked these questions and we've gone through what we've gone through, it's one of 3 reasons. 1, it's a financial issue. 2, it's a belief issue. Or 3, there's something that I haven't shown you that you need to see to move forward. Which one is it? then you can break down the real objection. And for many people, it's going to be the financials. And with the financials, I know we've only got a little bit of time, but with that, in relation to my investment, I mean, this isn't universal, but I might ask the question, Ben, before you picked up this call, knowing you had a guaranteed solution to solve X problem that you've been struggling for Y years, whatever you've said to me, I'm going to play that back to you. What would you have been prepared to spend to solve this problem once and for all? You tell me the price. I then work out the difference of what you're prepared to spend versus my investment, and I deal with the real objection, which is the price difference, which is it nullifies how much difference the client actually has to pay. And then I might break that down per week, per month of what that actually does. So what that does, it takes that high price investment package and it makes it a lot more logical and doable for the client, where they think, hang on a minute, I'm letting a couple of grand stand in the way, a couple of grand difference stand in the way. Say if someone to me might say, well, I expected 3 grand, you're 5. I might say something like, okay, Ben, so are you really going to let 2 grand over the next 12 weeks stand in the way of you achieving X, Y, Z? And if I break that down per week, that's 150 quid a week, 15 to 20 pounds a day. Let's be real here, Ben. You've struggled with your weight for 20 years. You're probably spending that on snacks and stuff. Would that be right? Would that be fair? Would that be accurate? Cool. Do you see how then I've created logic that if they're not going to spend that with me,
they're spending it anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm getting more granular on the objection of how they're likely spending that money without me anyway, and where that's going to put them if they don't do that. And another few great questions. I know you wanted to get this wrapped up in 10 because I do love sales and this psychology aspect. Another great question, especially when you've provided value, you know that person's the right fit. And this is where the emotional certainty, which I shared, Ben, is so important. Looking someone in the eye and saying to them, Ben, man to man here, do you really want to get off this call facing another 12 years or even the next year in the same position or worse? You've been struggling with this for X. Do you want to get off this call facing another whatever years you've told me? Or I might say the question, what are you going to value more in 12 months' time? The money in your bank account, but you're still stuck 10 kilos overweight, if not worse, which is impacting relationships, business performance, energy. Or you get off this call knowing you have a world-class team behind you and we solve this problem once and for all.
Love it. Because people have a habit of procrastinating on decisions.
Yep.
Mainly, sometimes it's not just they got the money, right?
Yep.
They're price qualified lead.
Yep.
Like that you can see they've told you what they do for a job, work, business.
Yep.
Like they're just like their habit of buying decisions is procrastinating, and it's held them back their whole life. And people listening, watching this will probably have the same behavior to a certain degree. And that was one of my biggest breakthroughs in entrepreneurial, my entrepreneurial career was when I started making decisions quicker because a mentor called me out on it. And I started making decisions quicker, and then suddenly, not in just business, just whole life, and things started clicking together. I got one more question. So we've gone over the 10 minutes, but I think this is important just to loop this together. So there's been some like propaganda online recently of like online coaches shouldn't do sales calls. You should just have a link in your bio, and people.
I know who you're talking about. And
like,
I've seen it.
I'm like, and I'll tell you my thought process around it. Can you just say what you feel about that?
I think it depends on how much you charge as a service. If you're a higher ticket, lower ticket, ultimately, if you're a cheaper product and with the greatest respect, you don't have the depth of service that we have, and that's okay. You might be just an app, a fitness app where it's just workouts that people are getting. You don't need a sales call for that. Ultimately, a sales page, maybe a webinar ad, that might be sufficient. But if you're charging thousands, you need an exceptional sales page and pre-recorded webinar to buy someone in. And also from my side, and look, this may change as business evolves, I also want to make sure, because this is a two-way thing and it makes you seem less desperate on a sales call, if someone's coming onto my service, you're joining my program, Ben, irrelevant the investment, I want to make sure that you're a right fit for me. And my coaches are going to like working with you.
You're a good human.
You're a good human. It's a great exchange of value. It's the right fit. And that creates confidence as well when you're prepared to say that. Like, for example, even if someone's had done a referral introduction to us and you got someone who's very busy, I still want to make sure, and we insist on this, no one joins Built to Last unless you have a video call with a member of our team, just so we can make sure you are 100% happy with what we're going to deliver to take you out to where you want to be, as we keep coming back to, these podcasts, so you can meet that client's expectation. And you might be able to do some questionnaires back and forth, which we have onboarding questions, so our coaching team exactly what the client wants, all that stuff. But I just think it's a great start to the customer journey process as well. So I think it's a necessity if you're charging higher ticket. And if you're looking like us to have an absolute minimum of 1 year with that client relationship, all right, and it takes a call. And in my case, I have to pay a commission rate if someone obviously is taking the call for us and onboarded the client, right? So what? If that enhances the experience and also it sets the boundaries, sets the expectation, gets the client pumped and makes them feel how Built to Last is different and show them why we are going to be different, and it helps visually create that vision for them that this is what we're going to do, I just think it sets the relationship off to a good start, and it makes you less desperate on a sales call.
Well, so many gyms, online coaches, they have a 5-star service product, but their sales process is 1-star because there isn't a sales process. It's just like, here's a link, go sign up. And on that point as well, like, it's all well and good. If you've got 500,000 followers and your price point is low, like you said, yes, you can sell with a link because you've got the authority of having all of that.
Yeah, if you're David Beckham and you've got a gym, then people are going to want to be there just part of David Beckham, but you got to meet where you're at and be realistic. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, again, look at, and I've done this, Ben, look at how long some people are prepared to spend on writing and creating a social media post, or, mind my language, a fucking video in the gym of them doing a squat for themselves to look how many reps I've done today. Look how much time you're prepared to put into that. Is that really a high value leveraged activity for you and your business? What is a high value leveraged activity is getting on calls with potential clients who will join your program.
And speak to people because they need that reassurance that you're the best
especially
option.
When they've got choice. Do you understand? You can relieve people of any fears and objections.
People, want to have that laptop lifestyle, 4-hour work week, hide behind the DMs, hide behind the WhatsApps, and do minimal effort to succeed. But then they'll be the first to complain when they're not hitting the revenue that they want, but they've not done the hard yards or the hard work.
It's the start of the relationship, the relationship builder. Everyone's now, they're getting seen with lots of ads and lots of social media. There's never been more choice for people to shop around on their relevant services, for their potential services they need. So have someone who is that client relationship builder who can talk, who can sell, who can give that prospect peace of mind. Like I've just said, that we're trying to do on our call, that guess what, we're different. And no matter what you've tried before, because many people have tried something before, they've tried the gym before, why don't you stick to it? You can learn more about the experiences. And again, just coming back to the sales side of things as well, another little framework that you can use is when whether you're a gym owner or whether you're an online coach, I might ask something like, Ben, what do you like about what you're currently doing? What do you not like about what you're currently doing? And what are you looking for from an online coaching service? Or what are you looking for from a great gym? What would make your experience more pleasurable and keep you in the gym active? Or in our case, keep you consistent? Like, what are you looking for? What was missing? And you might be able to get that off a question or a type form or a score app. And all these things, they're great and we use these things. But when you're dealing with a human, sometimes you need to peel beneath the layers of what is the real reason this person comes to the gym. Because a lot of people, especially if they've failed, Ben, as we've said before, it's a lack of belief, or they've failed a few times and they're apprehensive. So like, you have a short call with someone man to man and they feel that emotion and empathy.
They're going to move.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Thank you for these 3 mini episodes. So pricing, what's under the hood, what you actually deliver, and then sales tips. Where can people find you on Instagram, website?
They can find me on Kirk Miller _. Unfortunately, I don't have just the Kirk Miller. Someone else has taken that. It's Kirk Miller _. My website is kirkmiller.co.uk. And I'm across all media platforms.
Cheers, Kirk. It's been awesome.
Oh, and also, sorry to plug it, but I've done over 150 episodes on the Kirk Miller podcast. Did a great episode with Ben. But yeah, I've been ruthlessly consistent with that as well. So even if you never work with me, I've done so much free value that even if you implemented the things on that podcast, you'd be in safe hands. I care, I give a shit. And if you work with me, then I'll change your life too.
And I can watch my episode.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for being an awesome FMA client. And can't wait to continuously work with you, see the results that you get. And cheers.
That's it. Thank you so much. Hey, good job.
Cheers, mate.